At this time, I call to order the regular meeting of the Maricopa County Community College District Governing Board for January 22nd, 2019. First, we have the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by Chandler Gilbert Community College student Lucas Kaufman.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It's really wonderful to see so many of you here tonight. And I would like to begin by thanking the Chancellor and the staff for moving our meeting on such very short notice so that we could all be together in the same room. And I want to thank the literally hundreds of people, both employees and community members, who have reached out to me in the last week with congratulatory messages on assuming the presidency of the board. I just hope that I can live up to the high expectations that you all have for me. We have a number of significant challenges that we must address quickly and effectively at the same time that we stay focused on student success and on responsible governance oversight. We are beginning tonight with a resolution stating our commitments and directions for 2019. And personally, I commit to leading this board in a manner that respects the history and the culture of the Maricopa colleges, that respects and values our employees and ensures that they have a voice and representation, and that ensures that we as a board operate in a transparent and collaborative manner. So let's get started. First, since we are such a large group tonight, I would remind you about silencing your phones. Thank you. We have a substitution tonight for interim president Kate Smith. We have Dr. Greg Pereira. And now, to present our student life report on behalf of Chandler Gilbert Community College. Again, Lucas Kaufman and Vivian Rose.
President Thor, members of the board, Dr. Maria Harper-Marinick, members of the CEC, and guests. My name is Vivian Oros. I'm a nursing student at Chandler Gilbert Community College, and I'm also Phi Theta Kappa's vice president. With me today is my colleague, Mr. Lucas Kaufman. Phi Theta Kappa's mission is to recognize academic achievement of college students and to provide opportunities for them to grow as scholars and leaders. We are the Alpha Sigma Nu chapter at Chandler Gilbert Community College, and we are also a 5-star chapter. In short, that is the highest level of engagement any PTK chapter can obtain each year. We've also earned a Distinguished Chapter Award for our combined 2017 scores for our college project and our Honors in Action project. As of 2018, we've had 270 members, 4 All-Arizona Academic Team winners, 8 All-CGCC Academic Team winners, multiple scholarship recipients, and we're also a top 100 chapter in the nation. PTK hosts annual induction ceremonies, new member orientations, weekly chapter meetings, and PTK also promotes leadership and development, and also presented us as members with the opportunity to use StrengthsFinder, a test that identifies our top 5 strengths. In 2018, our chapter had the privilege of hosting or co-hosting the Honors Institute. As you can see, PTK members are high achievers. And our very own Dr. Greg Peterson, college president and PTK alumni, is an excellent example of how high achievers are present in PTK communities. And now, Mr. Lucas Kaufman will elaborate more on the college project as well as the Honors in Action project. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Lucas Kaufman. I'm a business major at Chandler Gilbert Community College, and I'm also the lead Honors in Action project officer for the Alpha Sigma Nu chapter of Phi Theta Kappa. Every year, Phi Theta Kappa tasks its chapters with the challenge of working with college administration on issues specific to the college, otherwise known as the college project, and creating an annual honors research project like the Honors in Action project. For the college project, we were challenged to help bring awareness to the Coyote Cupboard, an on-campus food pantry for students. We worked with several agencies, such as our own Student Life Department and a nonprofit organization, Fans Across America, in order to not only destigmatize usage of the Coyote Cupboard, but to also expand the Coyote Cupboard by incorporating school supplies for students to use. For our 2018 Honors in Action project, our chapter chose to explore the correlation between social media and mental health issues such as depression, and how we can raise awareness on the topic in the community and the college. Over the year, we conducted scholarly research, which led to our decision to hold an educational forum for parents and community leaders on these issues in the upcoming spring months. Now, President Thor, members of the board, Dr. Maria Harper-Marinick, members of the CEC, and guests, it has been a pleasure to be with you all tonight, and we are truly grateful for this opportunity to share our work. Are there any questions?
Questions or comments from the board?
Yes, thank you.
And congratulations on your very successful Phi Theta Kappa chapter. You have a lot to be proud of. Next is a report from the Faculty Executive Council. Mr. Champel, do you have a report?
Good evening, President Thor, members of the board, Chancellor, CEC, fellow faculty, there are many in the house here tonight, and guests. My name is John Champel. I'm in my 13th year as a residential faculty member at Phoenix College, where I teach students in biology. I am also the currently elected president of the Faculty Executive Council, the official representative body of the residential faculty of the Maricopa Community Colleges, and I am really delighted to have the opportunity to speak to you this evening. First, I would like to extend congratulations to the newly elected governing board officers, board president Dr. Linda Thor, and board secretary Kathleen Wynn. The faculty look forward to having constructive dialogue with the board as we all move forward. The Faculty Executive Council met earlier this afternoon. Tonight's consent agenda, item 7.1, engendered significant discussion at today's meeting. We were particularly encouraged by several aspects of item 7.1. A particular note was the reaffirmation, as Dr. Thor alluded to a little earlier at the beginning of the meeting, of long-established and effective board policies that recognize both accreditation standards and best practices in board governance. These stated policies include the declaration that the board will govern in a manner that is non-partisan, with emphases including integrity and truthfulness in all of its activities and practices, collective rather than individual decisions, and encouragement of diversity in viewpoints. Also, there is an explicit understanding of the inherent bedrock value of shared governance in institutional decision-making. Item 7.1 presents all of us in the Maricopa Community College District with an enormous opportunity, one that has the ability to move our district forward by leaps and bounds. As faculty, we urge the board to pass consent agenda item 7.1. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Champel. Next, a report from the Adjunct Faculty Association, Gail Haas.
Good evening, President Thor, members of the board, Dr. Harper Marinick, the CEC, and guests. My name is Patricia Gail Haas, past president of the Adjunct Faculty Association of Maricopa Community Colleges. I'm here to introduce you to our new president, Patrick Roddy. I'm very pleased and excited to pass the baton on to Patrick. I feel that he will support adjuncts effectively, thoughtfully, enthusiastically, and help us lead through transformation and these now interesting changes. I'm confident the students of Maricopa will reap the rewards of all of our efforts together. Patrick Roddy.
President Thor, members of the board, Dr. Harper Marinick, members of the CEC, and guests. My name is Patrick Roddy, the new president of the Adjunct Faculty Association of Maricopa Community Colleges. As an adjunct faculty, I teach motion picture television production at Scottsdale Community College. In addition, I'm also a student at Mesa Community College in the Sustainable Agriculture program. I'm a firm believer in lifelong learning, and as a first-time college goer in my family, I know education changes people's lives for the better. With 15 years experience in education, which includes work both as a chair of multiple programs and a dean of academic affairs, I have firsthand knowledge of the value and importance that adjunct faculty have in the successful operation of any higher ed institution. It was this in mind when I accepted the role of president of the Adjunct Faculty Association last month. I'm excited about this opportunity and look forward to working with the Adjunct Faculty Association Board to further our mission of supporting and promoting the work of adjunct faculty. We also have 2 new officers this year, Catherine Hawkins, Interior Design Adjunct Faculty from Scottsdale Community College, who will serve as our secretary, and Morgan Devlin, Social Sciences Adjunct Faculty from Glendale Community College, who will serve as our treasurer. The Adjunct Faculty Association Executive Committee, along with the 10 individual representatives from each campus, which make up our board, are currently collaborating with MCLI to produce 2 of our signature programs this semester. The Outstanding Adjunct Faculty Awards, which recognizes the very best adjunct faculty from each of our 10 campuses, and the LEAD Conference, which promotes and contributes to adjunct faculty professional development. The Adjunct Faculty Association is eager this year to continue our ongoing efforts to work positively and effectively with all stakeholders at the campus and district levels while advocating for adjunct faculty. Through the recognition of adjunct talents and abilities, as well as the advancement of adjunct knowledge and skills, we can contribute to the betterment of the educational experience of our students, and most importantly, their success here at Maricopa Community Colleges. I appreciate the opportunity to introduce myself tonight and welcome the chance to share with you the accomplishments of our adjunct faculty in the future. Thank you for your time.
Were you having difficulty hearing me? Oh. Okay. Is that better now? All right. Well, congratulations, Mr. Roddy, on your presidency of the Adjunct Faculty Association. And thank you, Ms. Haas, for your service this past year. At this time, we have the Chancellor's report. Chancellor Harper Marinick.
Thank you, Dr. Thor. Can you hear me? Yeah, thank you. Dr. Thor, members of the board, I too would like to congratulate Dr. Thor and Mrs. Wynn on the new roles, and I look forward to working with both of you to advance the work of the transformation and to make sure that we are serving the community and the students in the manner they expect and deserve. So congratulations. We have 2 presentations tonight on the transformation, one by Dr. Mark Cohen, interim CIO, and the other one by Mr. Matt Freed, interim director of marketing. So if Dr. Cohen is here. And Mr. Freed, if you can come to the front and get ready, I guess, yeah.
Dr. Harper-Marinick, while we're waiting for them, I'd like to point out that there are many empty seats here in the front of the room. You people standing at the back do not need to do that. We have seats and
A students all
The
sit.
A students row. Mr. Freed.
President Thor, members of the board, Dr. Harper-Marinick, members of the CEC, and guests. My name is Matt Freed, and I am the interim marketing director at district office, and I'm here representing the district office marketing department. And I wanted to thank Dr. Harper-Marinick and Dr. Fisher and all of the CEC for their collaboration and support for this campaign that we're going to talk about today. What is the campaign? It's Make It Happen at Maricopa, and it's about brand awareness, about sharing millions of impressions throughout the valley to make sure that we're top of mind when people are looking at our competitors. Also application volume, driving new students to apply and to enroll, and inquiry database, really building up a database of leads in our CRM so we can convert students in the future. We have goals. Our objectives are 176 million digital impressions. An impression is really just someone seeing one of our ads. So it could be a billboard, it could be a Google search ad, it could be a display ad. So those are impressions. And out of those impressions, we want 48,000 inquiries, which are really leads. And from those leads, we want to make sure that we convert 4,800 enrollments. And if we do that, and each of those students take the 7.8 credit hours that's on average, we're going to get back in tuition about $3.2 million. We're not in it to make money, but we want to make sure that our money is being put to good use. So it's a good marketing return on investment. So make it happen. I often get asked, what is it? It can be just about anything you want it to be. It could be location-based. So I want to make it happen at Chandler Gilbert Williams campus. It could be alumni-based. I made it happen at Phoenix College. It could be occupational. I'm making nursing happen. It could be faculty. It could be our district brand, where we'll incorporate fields of interest when that comes to fruition. And it could also be Latino, Hispanic, and multicultural. And here's some of our creative collateral that we put together. You may have seen these billboards across the valley. I hope you have. We have about 40 billboards out there, 70 bus shelters. We're on the radio, and we are also on the light rail. We have 4 light rail wraps. They're really cool. There's many accidents have almost been caused when these go by. I can't get my phone fast enough. So really exciting, and it's really the investment in the leadership here that it's taking the initiative to do this as a district-wide campaign. And we're using real students. We've done photo shoots, we've done video shoots at the campuses with real students in their real programs. Really great t-shirts, the students love them. This is a shoot at Glendale. So that's great. We create all this collateral. But how does it work? So we have all of these ads that we place. We have all these channels. So what we do is we drive all those leads to a landing page. And on the left, you're seeing a landing page. We don't drive them to the college website because we actually want to make sure that we can track and have metrics for every single lead that comes through. So once a student gets here, they can either call, which is up in the right-hand corner, or they can fill out this form. And this form goes directly into our CRM system, and the calls go right to our district contact center. Now, someone might come here and say, I'm not going to fill out that form because I know you're going to email me. I'm not going to call because I know you're going to keep calling me. If they do that, we also follow them if they go to our college website and they click that Apply Now button. That's also a conversion for us because we know that they're going to get into that pipeline. So that's how it works in the back end. Obviously, I'm simplifying it, but that's really the conversion strategy that we're using. And once those leads get to the district contact center, that contact center either converts that lead or passes that on to the enrollment services center at the colleges. And then what are these metrics, right? We were approved by the board on September, a consent agenda item, and we got the contract approved in October, and in November we started. We've already garnered 51 million impressions and 152,000 clicks to our landing pages, which is a cost per click of $2.71. This is super important. We now know if we're having this many impressions, it's going to cost us this much to get a click. That way we can do budgets. So far, we spent about $400,000, and we use a marketing dashboard. I'm not going to show you today, but it is super impressive. Digital ad impressions. So just to make sure, we are on track. So in November, we launched about 5 of the 10 colleges, and we hit 13 million. And in December, we had almost every single college, and we served 27 million impressions. In January, we are set to hit 24 million impressions, so we're on track. We've had 6,411 people hit that Apply Now button to go through that process. 1,700 people, almost 1,800 people, filled out a form for us to reach back out to them. That is very rare nowadays for people to give up their information for us to contact. And we've had about 3,500 phone calls through our district contact center. Overall, it's a little under 12,000, and that's a cost per acquisition or a cost per lead of $35. So now we know if we want X amount of leads, we need to spend $35 per lead. Our metrics are fantastic, the campaign's fantastic, and it's really the team. It is the team here at district office, it's all the marketing teams at the colleges, and the leadership at the colleges as well. It's all collaborative. We're not doing this in a silo. And really excited about this. This is conversation analytics. It's new technology. I'm pretty sure we're the only one right now in education using this. We record all of our phone calls coming in. It's really hard to train someone or to get information about phone calls because you need someone to sit and listen to the phone calls. So we are actually transcribing those phone calls, and then we're looking for trends in the conversations. And what we can do is we can look at the trends and say, oh, if an agent mentions scholarships 4 times, they have a better rate of enrolling. Or we can look for trends on what they're seeing in their marketing. So we are getting analytics through machine learning, which is fantastic. And we also, that was very, technological and complex. We also have very simple things that we can do. Wayfinding signage. There was a report that came out that said students were having trouble finding the enrollment services when they come. So what did we do? All the marketing departments at the colleges and got together, and we looked at wayfinding signage for all the campuses. So it's super simple when a student comes on campus to find where to enroll. So what are the takeaways? We're on budget, number 1. We're tracking above projections. Very important. We're streamlining the processes between all the stakeholders that are going to make our results even better because we're finding through our analytics where we can get better. And this campaign is really a turning point, and I'm so excited to be a part of it. And because of the collaboration with the colleges, we've never had a comprehensive district marketing campaign that we went out and recruited for every single college. This is their first. It's super exciting. We have the metrics, and I'm just excited to be a part of it. And thank you for your vision and leadership. Oh yes, Dr. Haney, where are you? So sorry to call you out. I didn't tell you I was going to do this. But Dr. Haney went to Ecuador over the break, climbed this enormous mountain, and was so invested in the campaign, he pulls out a shirt and takes a picture of the Make It Happen campaign shirt while he's summiting. So thank you for that. Nice picture. Any questions or comments?
Mr. Sarr, then Mrs. Sullivan.
Just a,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Did the S? Yes.
Sullivan does have a question.
sorry, just a rumor I heard that the wrappings that we did on the light rail covered up ASUs. I don't know if that's
Mrs. Nguyen.
Oh, it works when it's on. I just wondered how much longer, based on, it looks like 3 months for 400,000. So are you going to continue? Are you going to stop? What is the plan for the next 6 months?
Sure. President Thor, Board Member Nguyen, we are going to continue up and through June 30. So we'll be running this campaign till June 30, and with the hope that we will get another budget round, and we'll continue this campaign for another year at least.
Mrs. Sullivan.
I'd like to go back to the slide, digital advertising metrics, digital ad impressions, where you break it down November, December, and January.
Yes.
Please, thank you.
You bet.
By the way, this is exciting. I am not an IT person. Everyone who knows me knows that. Everyone who doesn't know me, I'm telling you now. But with that, I am curious about analytics. So where you're going with how many apply now buttons, form filled, phone calls, do you have an expectation ratio of what you want to see out of those numbers?
Sure.
That's
President.
my first question. Then I
Okay.
have a second one.
Okay. Oh, President Thor, Board Member Sullivan. Yeah, the expectation is that we're looking for about a 20% conversion rate. We don't have the ability to do that in marketing, so we hand those leads off to our district contact center or our colleges, but a 20% would be good.
And then my follow-up question was, how are you going to track how this turns into actual enrollments?
So that happens at that
Conversion point?
Yeah, the conversion point within student affairs and our district or enrollment centers at the colleges themselves.
So will you be collaborating to create
Yes.
an analytical report that would articulate that? And what would be the first time or quarter that you would expect to have that information?
We have some already because the form fills that you're seeing up there, we can follow all the way through. So we can actually track that because it's in our CRM system. But we are working with ITS and we're working with student affairs to develop integrations, that streamlining I was talking about, that will just automatically do that for us. We're about a year out, I think, maybe a little bit more for that. But we'll still have enrollment numbers that will be that we can report out on that aren't very specific as far as, hey, we're sure this person happened. But it's a manual process, and we're going to be doing that, and we'll do it probably the next time we come back, so 6 months in. We're just over 90 days in this digital campaign.
Didn't mean to press the expectations.
No, it's fine. We want to report out on that. We're excited about it.
So after you do this, you will then look at a cost-benefit analysis so that we can understand, was this an appropriate investment, and just not for the topical, how much it costs to do X, but how it generates revenue? Is that where you're getting?
Yeah,
Okay.
and what we'll be doing is looking at credits that the students are taking, how long they persist, lifetime value. Those are the things we'll look at.
Well, great. I live near a light rail, and I love seeing those.
Oh,
So
excellent.
Those are great. And I haven't crashed my car yet while looking, so
Good,
we're good.
good.
Well, thank you very much. I
you.
appreciate the opportunity.
Dr. Narini.
Thank you. What I was wondering, have we done any sort of climate survey or surveyed the current students to know what they're kind of looking for with these sort of things? I mean, it's one thing to get them to the page, but our current students kind of know where the hiccups might be along the way. And so have we done any sort of climate survey or surveyed our current students?
Sure. President Thor and Board Member Narini, yes, we have. So we've done focus groups about the campaign and specifically about, like you said, trouble spots, but also we've asked them their preferences. So what do you like to see? Where do you watch TV? What social media do you use? When do you use it? How do you use it? So we have that data coming in, and we're also looking at just the data that we get from our CRM system, our SIS system, to look at patterns and trends, for sure.
And I guess the step further, like once they have the impression, they get to the website, like what happens next? You know, what can we do to make it better and easier? Because I know I work with a lot of students, and they get to the page without going through this, but then they run into the hiccups and the frustrations, like, I have a student ID, but I don't know my MEID number. What do I do? And I can't remember my last 4 digits of my social security number.
Right.
And my birthday is not in there, so I don't even know who to call now.
Sure.
So.
We do need to do that work, and I think we are working on some of that through our marketing department in collaboration with Student Affairs, ITS, and Communications. We have a group that's formed to just talk about student communications. One of the things, we just had a focus group a month ago or 2 months ago, and we had 8 students there talking about this exact same thing. Don't send me 5 emails in one day. Don't send me an email that's 3 pages long. I need it short. I don't care if it's an email, but make it short, make it relevant to me. So we are working on some of that, and I think that'll come out of all the work that we're doing through this transformative process.
Thank you, Mr. Freed. Thank you, members of the board. Dr. Cohen?
Hello, President Thor, members of the board, Dr. Harper-Marinick, members of CEC, and guests. My name is Mark Cohen, and I'm the interim CIO for the Maricopa Community College District. And I'm here to talk to you a little bit today about the MyInfo app. I'm happy to report that SIS was stable this semester for the first time in a long time. So, thank you. It was certainly a team effort, and it wouldn't have been possible without the funding that you approved back in October, so thank you very much for that. But it's been a long time coming, and we hope that it's the first of many, and that will soon be an unremarkable thing. But that's not the only thing that we've been working on. We've also been working on the MyInfo app. And so I want to talk a little bit about this because we really want to work on the student experience, and it hasn't been as seamless or painless as we'd like it to be, and this is one of the things that we've been doing to try and improve that student experience. So first I'd like to hit a few of the highlights of the app. There's kind of a lot packed into it. It's now available as a downloadable app. It was originally a web app that worked fine on mobile devices, but you couldn't find it in the app stores, and now you can. So that makes it much easier for students to track down. Students can view their class schedules. This is a thing that we used to spend a lot of time printing out for students at the beginning of semesters and handing it to them. We don't have to do that anymore. Much easier for students and for the folks who used to have to print out those schedules. Students can find the textbook information for their classes. They can find out if it's required, if it's optional, what it might cost, if it's available for rent. If there's a link straight to Follett now, so they can buy it from our partner, but if for some reason they don't have it, the textbook information is also there, so they can buy it from somebody else if the bookstore is out of it. It does digital wayfinding, which Matt touched on briefly about how important it is to help our students navigate the colleges. And so that's in there. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a moment. They can quickly email faculty. This seems like a pretty trivial thing, but actually, if you've tried to find our directory and you've tried to find folks, sometimes that can be a little challenging. So having their faculty member right there is really easy to do. My apologies to the faculty in the room. They can quickly add their schedule to their Google Calendar. So we provide this powerful suite of tools through Google for all our students. They can automatically upload their academic schedule to that. The nice thing about this is then they could plan their work and social events around their academic schedule. Now, I'm not saying that they do, but it's possible. Because we know that good time management is really important for college success, right? So we can also, students can track their financial aid status and award amounts. One of the #1 calls that we get is what's my status to our contact center. And we pay quite a bit of money to answer those calls, so every time we don't have to answer that saves us money. But more importantly, the student doesn't have to wait on hold and talk to a person about it. They can just see it in the app whenever it's convenient for them. They can now make a payment. It takes them straight to the payment page, which is also a new feature that we've added. Makes it much easier now that students have to pay at the time of registration. They can do that through the app quite easily now. They can view their grades, and now they can order transcripts, which they couldn't always do through the app. And they can see their account holds and to-dos and what the steps are to resolve that. Sometimes those are things that prevent students from enrolling, and we don't want there to be any barriers. So we want to let them know right up front what it is that might be a blocker for them to get registered for classes. So those are some of the highlights. I want to give you a little bit of history about how we got to this point. In 2014, we launched an app at Phoenix College called MyPC. And it solved some problems. We worked very closely with our partners in Student Affairs to try to address some things that they said were pain points and took a lot of staff time. Then in April 2015, it won Innovation of the Year for the entire district from the League for Innovation. And then in January, actually another college stood it up. Gateway was able to launch it as my GWCC. And then last November in 2017, we were able to stand it up district-wide for all 10 colleges. And we added some new features to it. That's when we first added some of the financial aid features. And then almost a little over a year later, this past December, we launched version 2, which adds a lot of new features, which I'll talk about in just a moment. And then December 27th, we were able to add it as an app to the iTunes Store. And January 2nd, we added it to Android. The reason that's important is because I'm going to show you how many people have already downloaded it. So we've had 313,000 logins, 1.4 million total page views, and even though we just launched the mobile apps, we've already had 3,500 folks download the app from the App Store. So pretty good uptick, and quite a bit more with version 2 than we had in version 1. So we think that that means that word's getting out about the app and how much it can help students with their experience. So some of the new features in this release that just came out, My Info is now available, as I mentioned, in both of the app stores, which one of the, we listen to the feedback that we get from the colleges, from students, and one of the things they said is, even though it's a web app and it works fine on a mobile device, students go looking for it in the app store. We wanted to make sure that students who, for some reason, didn't have mobile devices could still see it on a computer or a laptop or any device that they had, so it works fine on those platforms. And there are actually a lot of students who do access it from a desktop or a laptop, but we obviously wanted it to be easy to find, so we also put it in the App Store. So now you can access it on any platform. It's one app, one code base for us to maintain, but it's available where you'd go looking for it in the App Store. Student support for My Info is now featured on each page. So at the bottom of each page, there's a link to the FAQ. There's a phone number they can call for help. And there's a feedback button, and we pay very close attention to the feedback that students give us. We want to make sure that we're being responsive to the things that students are asking us for or telling us they need. As I mentioned, what was originally just a financial aid section is now expanded, and it has excuse me, more information about their finances. They can see their balance, they can make a payment, they can see their account details. So a lot more information, and some of it's much easier to see than it would be if they went into Student Center. Detailed information is there to help them, as I mentioned, resolve the holds. Those are often barriers for students to get registered, so we wanted to let them know if there was anything that could get in the way of them getting registered. Then we improved several things from the previous version. We improved the home page based on the feedback that we got from the students. There's a link to Follett that I mentioned straight to their textbook so they can buy them right away. There's a more comprehensive financial aid award summary, and they can request more aid if they need to. That's also new. They can view all their past grades. It used to be they could only go back 3 semesters. Now it goes back a very long time, like all the way back to when I was a student in Maricopa. So if you've ever been a student in Maricopa, if you want to log in and see your grades, you can for many, many moons. And then we've worked to get the CAPTCHA part at the front user-friendly. That's some feedback that we got that was a little bit too difficult, so we're trying to find ways to make that easier for students. So one of the things that I want to highlight is the wayfinding capability. Every single college and every single building at every single college has been entered with GPS coordinates. So when a student pulls up their schedule, they can click the button that is the name of the building where their class is, and it will show up on an interactive Google map. But more importantly, if they have GPS turned on their phone, it will also show them where they are. So they can navigate from where they are to where they need to go in the app without having to ask anybody and interrupt a student affairs professional who's able to help them with other things that apps don't do well. So anything that the technology can do, we want it to do so that our student affairs folks can work on the things that only they can do, right? So this is a very important feature and one of the top ones that was asked for when we first built the app. Textbook information, this is really important. Students want to know if they can buy a book, if they can rent a book. They need the full record so that they can have the ISBN in case the bookstore doesn't have their book. We want to make sure that they're prepared for learning on day one. And so part of that is making sure they have all this information and their books are easy to find and buy. Add the schedule to calendar. As I mentioned, we know that time management's an important skill for our students to learn. So that's built right in. They can upload it to their Google Calendar and keep track of all the other things in their busy lives. They can also email it to themselves if they need to have a copy to show an employer, for example. And then the financial aid awards, one of the things that I want to highlight here, you can see on your printout, hopefully, and for those of you in the audience, you can see that there are color-coded buttons here for partially dispersed, fully dispersed, accepted. Those are their financial aid statuses that help them understand where they are in that award cycle, and it really matters for our students. It also lets them know about their satisfactory academic progress, which is very important for remaining eligible for financial aid. And then the grades are really important for things like athletes or folks on scholarship who need to make sure that they're maintaining a certain GPA. All that information is right at their fingertips. And then this was something that the provost told us was her number one item, which is the ability for students to make a payment. So we added that in this release. Since we were changing the time that students had to pay, it used to be they had quite a long window, and now at the time that they register, they have to pay. So this was obviously a high priority for all of us. So we went ahead and added that in this version as well. So there's a quick overview of my info. Please let me know if you have any questions. I'd be happy to answer them.
Fantastic. Any questions or comments? Dr. Narini.
As a counselor, are there, or do you have plans? Do you have plans to maybe do YouTube videos, more for the counselors than for the students, just to how to navigate this so that they can show the students how to navigate some of this?
Yeah, that's a great question. We are planning to release a video for it. We already have a faculty and staff guide to the application that we've put together, though. Because it's really targeted at registered students, if you're not one, you won't see all of the features. So we built a guide that shows you every single screen and every single function that happens on that screen. So that's available for everyone to view so that the folks who are supporting students can talk through all those capabilities. So we have released that guide, and we're also working on a video.
Yeah, as a counselor, we get those currently enrolled students back.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
To navigate this stuff.
Sure. Yep.
Thank you, Dr. Thor. That concludes my presentation. Thank you, Dr. Cohen.
We're now at citizens interim. This is an opportunity for members of the public to address the governing board about items that are not on the agenda for discussion today. In compliance with the open meeting law, the governing board will neither discuss nor take action on issues raised during this portion of the agenda. Each speaker is asked to limit their comments to 3 minutes. Our first speaker is Dan Berryman.
President Thor, members of the board, Dr. Harper Marinick, members of the CEC, and guests. My name's Dan Berryman, and I'd like to provide some input into this evening regarding the proposed resolution rescinding the board resolutions passed in February and June of 2018 pertaining to faculty policies and the process for creating and modifying them. I'm here this evening not only as a concerned citizen of Maricopa County, but as a recently retired human resource executive. I spent 40 years in my chosen field, with the first 25 years in the high-tech corporate world and the last 15 years in higher education. I spent 16 years early in my career with Motorola here in Maricopa County, and I'm very familiar with the critical role the district plays in our community. And I'm also a huge proponent of having methods for employees to provide their input into the creation and modification of policies. In my time in higher education, human resources, I had the opportunity to work for the University of California, Gonzaga University, the University of Tennessee, and in order to return to my adopted home state of Arizona, I spent the last 3 years of my career as a Vice Chancellor of Human Resources for the Pima Community College District. I retired from there this past May. It's not clear to me in reviewing the proposed resolution if the board will be simply voting on reinstating the meet and confer process as it was, or if the faculty administrative collaboration team or the constituency collaboration team would be tasked with proposing a revised meet and confer process. But these groups need to propose, if they are able to, a more streamlined process. Pima was utilizing meet and confer process similar to Maricopa, and they were the only 2 community colleges out of the 10 community colleges in Arizona that used a process anything like the meet and confer that was being utilized. In all my years in human resources, I've never encountered, until I came to Pima, such administratively overburdening process that kept numerous faculty, staff, and administrators away from their primary function. At Pima, the board and the chancellor decided in 2015 the district needed to develop a process for gaining faculty and staff input that was more streamlined. And I was able to work with the chancellor and senior administrators to assemble a personnel governance task force that was made up of faculty, staff, and administrators, exempt and non-exempt staff. And I served as the chancellor's representative on that board, on that committee. And unfortunately, we spent way too much time, but overly collaborative we were, and we spent almost 2 years, over 20 meetings, and we proposed a new framework that was much more flexible and much more expedient to keep up with the changes in the community college world. The governing board endorsed that approach in April of 17 study session. The PGTF worked and created a framework once created a board policy proposal and administrative procedure to support this proposed framework, got overwhelming support from the employees as well as the board. We created the All-Employee Representative Council that meets and is currently meeting. I've checked back. I left in May. I've checked back with senior administrators there, and they are progressing very well, redesigning all of their policies. They'll have those in place by July of this year. They're meeting only once a month for a couple of hours. They have websites, surveys that go out. They get ongoing input with ideas on policies that need to be modified or proposed new policies. So I do ask you that you consider modifications to the existing process. It's not just myself. I continually checked with administrators from other colleges and universities when I was at conferences and symposiums, and none of them had ever seen, even those involved in collective bargaining states, had ever seen such a cumbersome process from a time perspective. The input is great, but we really believed at Pima that we needed our faculty to be in the classroom to provide input, but not spend as much time as the existing process.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Berryman, for bringing the Pima model to our attention.
Yeah.
The next speaker is Kenneth Mims.
Good evening. Good evening, Board President and Board members. My name is Kenneth Mims. I am the Superintendent of Schools at Science Prep Academy. I have been in education for approximately 20 years as a science educator. My background is in physics, and I have a master's degree in science education. Currently, I sit on the Phoenix Youth and Education Commission, as well as the South Mountain Village Zoning and Planning. I come today to extend the opportunity to develop a partnership in reference to Science Prep Academy. We currently are located in the Salvation Army Kroc Center. We have a STEM school, private school for students who are autistic. The problem in the community is that 80% of individuals who are autistic are unemployed or underemployed. And 80% are actually under the age of 22. So what that means for a community and also for a community district like yourself is that in the near future, there's going to be an increasingly influx of individuals who are autistic. My story is that when I was an 8th grade physical science teacher, I had a student who was very bright, but he had an extra teacher, sat by himself. I was an inclusion teacher. I didn't understand exactly what his disability was, but one day he asked a very high-level question, and I had to figure out exactly what his disability was, who he was. I understood that he had an extra teacher, was socially awkward, sat by himself at lunch, and I found out he had autism. What I did, I was working on a master's degree at that time, and what I realized is that individuals who are autistic reminded me actually of myself and my peers in the science community. So that means my professors. This is a passion for myself. I mean, this is just my destiny to some degree. So, but I realized my professors who spent their life in the research lab, as well as my, graduate students. But if you look at people like Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Elon Musk, Wozniak, Newton, Einstein, all had characteristics. So for me, my position, my passion transition for helping all kids become scientists to specifically helping students who are autistic to become scientists. And this was done as we opened the doors 1.5 years ago at Science Prep Academy. So we actually are teaching students who are autistic how to become scientists, specifically computer scientists. We have received support and partnerships with Intel, Microsoft. We received grants from Best Buy, FIRST programs. Most importantly, we received a recent partnership with Amazon. So we are actually part of Amazon's Future Engineers program, which is an amazing opportunity. And our goal is to expand and grow. We have our current school ratio is 4:1, so we're a very small school. We also are at Arizona Department of Education private day school. But I come here today just to speak about the opportunities for us in the future, which is to really just let you guys know who we are and let you know and just go on the record that we are speaking to different local schools about the opportunity of bringing our program, our school, which is a 6th through 12th grade private school, to some of your members of your district. I think it'd be a great opportunity to create a pipeline for dual enrollment, to prepare students to make that transition into a community college, because the conversations that I have been having with schools in your district is that the whole education, K-12, but higher education, particularly community colleges, are noticing a drastic increase in the amount of individuals who are affected with autism, diagnosed or undiagnosed. So we would just like to play a role in helping that transition of students to get on a STEM career pathway. All right, thank you so much, and appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Mims, for
All right.
bringing your school to our attention, and I'm sure the chancellor and her staff will follow up.
Thank you. I'm just going to leave a little information with your assistant.
Thank you. And our last speaker is Dmitry Lavinenko. Pardon me if I butchered it.
It's okay. I'm so used to it. It's normal. Good evening, Dr. Thor, members of the board, Chancellor Dr. Harper-Marnick. My name is Dmitry Lagvinenko. That's how I pronounce it. All right. I've been teaching math, so I immediately apologize for my lack of eloquence. I'm not as good as the previous speakers. What I would like to address attention of the board is the following issue. I've been teaching for 18 years, so I've seen the enrollment going up, going down, but I never seen enrollment going so drastically down because of our own policies. I would like to address attention of the board to the following policy of the students paying, required to pay 24 hours grace period. This actually affects a lot of our students, in particular the most vulnerable students, the ones that come from lower socioeconomic society, part of the society. They don't have a chance to, a lot of them are receiving the financial aid. By the time they receive this financial aid, a lot of classes are being canceled for lack of enrollment. Also, I was wondering what happens, where this additional $15 charge for the enrollment came from. I remember one of the members of the previous board sent a letter to the legislators telling them that we don't need any financial support from the state. I'm kind of confused about this because maybe we need to pay for our lack of our skills in the management with students' money, but I would like to see maybe this policy could be changed, this $15 fee could be definitely taken out of the students because a lot of students cannot enroll because of these policies. And I want to remind this board that no country, successful international country in the world did not spend enough money on teaching of the youth and preparing of the people. That's basically all that I want to say. Thank you very much.
We're now at the consideration of the consent agenda. All items with an asterisk are consent matters unless they are removed from the consent agenda at this time. Do any members of the board or the chancellor wish to remove any items from the consent agenda?
Madam Chair.
Mr. Sark?
I would like to remove 7.1 for discussion.
Very good. Chancellor?
Dr. Thor, we are removing 9.6.
You are removing or you are withdrawing?
We are removing it, withdrawing it, not
Thank
coming
you.
back. Thank you.
No action. Okay. Any others? Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The consent agenda passes 6-0. We now move to item 7.1, a resolution of the governing board regarding commitments and directions for 2019. Since Mr. Saar and I authored this resolution, I would move it. Mr. Saar, would you like to second?
I will do so.
Thank you. I know that members of the audience may have seen the resolution online, but probably don't have it in your hands. So I would like to just briefly summarize it for everyone. The intent of the resolution has a number of facets. The first is to establish a new process for developing agreements with the faculty. And for the first time, this process will include adjunct faculty as well as residential faculty. And it is intended to be expedient, collaborative, and representative. And the ultimate approval, as always, will remain with the governing board. This resolution also encourages classified staff employees to identify a structure that provides for their representation and voice. The third goal of the resolution is to assemble a constituency collaboration team that includes not only employee group representatives, but students and community members. The group will use a town hall format to present consensus opinions to the board on some of the big challenges facing us. The fourth commitment is to develop a fair and equitable compensation philosophy for all employees for board review. And finally, the board will review its own operational structure to ensure that we are expanding the board's knowledge while we are also encouraging a variety of voices and viewpoints. With that, I'll open it for any questions or comments from board members. Mr. Saar.
Let me dive a little deeper on a couple items. What you didn't talk about were the front part where the whereases come about, and they are pulled directly from our policies as governing board policies. And I just want to highlight one of them that I follow probably more than most, but I think it's so important that when it comes to innovation, we value and embrace an innovative and risk-taking approach so that we remain at the forefront of global educational excellence. I think that's important. It's always been part of our honesty and integrity area, and I think that we always have to come back and look at these occasionally to know where we're supposed to be and maybe how we're going to get there. In terms of the therefores, Dr. Thor mentioned the idea that the faculty now includes adjunct faculty. With this document that's being produced relative to all the faculty who will get in front of our students, I think we've got an opportunity to make this something that the rest of the country can look at as innovation, as looking at it from the student perspective, that they understand that no matter who's in front of them, they are part of a large team that's put together to help them succeed. That includes not only our faculty in the negotiating process or the development of this document, but also we've got 2 members of administration, we've got 2 members of the full-time faculty, and we've got 2 members of adjunct. So these 6 individuals are those that are going to be responsible for developing this document that no other district, in my knowledge, in the country has. So I look forward to the next 90 days that this group of people will put together their first draft and bring it to us for consideration. The final document is due June 30th, where we replace what we have today with this new document. So I hope that you'll give these 6 people all the support you can If you're going to give them advice, make it precise and help them with it. We don't want this to stretch out indefinitely. We've given some time frames in this resolution that are there for some very important reasons. We don't want to have this in the committee that eventually just goes away for lack of interest. So please consider this one of the most important things that we've done in our district for a long time. You know, we are Maricopa, one of the largest and most prominent community colleges in the nation. Unfortunately, for the last decade or so, we've seen monitoring reports that show that we haven't really improved on much. We've done some small areas that we've really done excellent work, but as an organization, we're losing enrollment, and we can go on about that. I hope all of you are paying attention to these monitoring reports. They are so important for us. I've sat up here for the better part of that time, and I can say that I'm really looking forward to this new idea, this new energy that we're putting together tonight, and will continue over the next year, 2 years, year and a half in my case. We can do and gain the status in education, but it's up to you, it's up to us. You know, the phrase is something like, make it happen. So I look forward to, to coming together in 90 days to take the first draft, and I want to encourage those 6 members to count on me to push it through from our side as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Saar. Mrs. Sullivan?
I'd like to make a motion that we support the resolution as presented.
Second.
It's actually, it's already been moved in second. Thank you.
See, I'm just a newbie.
Yeah.
It's been moved and, so can I second it?
Mr.
It's
Saar
already been seconded. All right, so this is my comment. I'm proud of the district and its intention to move forward. And it's a privilege to be part of this with you. The thing that struck me in this resolution was a reminder of the values by which we will all live within the context of shared governance and collaboration. Excuse my mistake for the motions. I guess I'm just kind of enthusiastic. So with that, thank you for all the hard work done to put the resolution together, for all of you that participated in that. And let's keep moving.
I'll second that.
Yeah, there you go.
Mrs. McGrath.
Thank you, Dr. Thor. This is a resolution, and as I understand it, our policy with resolutions is that we have 3 readings on them. But this we are putting through with just 1 reading. And the other thing is that I note that the chancellor isn't included in here for regarding this before it comes to the board.
We do not have a board policy regarding resolutions. We do have a board policy on board policies that calls for a first and second reading.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, roll call vote, please.
There's been a request for a roll call vote. Dr. Narini.
Aye.
Mrs. Sullivan.
Aye.
Mrs. Nguyen.
Aye.
Mrs. McGrath.
Nay.
Mr. Saar.
Aye.
I vote aye. On a vote of 5 to 1, the resolution passes. Thank you all. It's nice to be cheered. Now, I am certain that 99% of you wish to stay while we finish this agenda. However, out of respect for the 1% of you that probably want to leave at this time because you may have papers to grade or whatever, we will take a very short break. We're going to get started We're now moving to information items and first readings. On item 10.1, it's the proposed board calendar for 2019. And I do want to bring to the board members' attention the return of agenda review. It's proposed for 1 week prior to the regular board meeting at 4 o'clock in order to allow staff as much time as possible to get the agenda prepared. However, in the past, agenda review has been 2 weeks prior, so I would welcome board members' thoughts as to whether 1 week is adequate for your preparation. Mr. Sarr.
I think this is a good calendar. I think the reason for 2 weeks was that with questions that come before the staff, it gave them 2 weeks to get answers and so forth to board members. I felt that we always got them within a week anyway, so I think this works. Also, I think it's important to understand that, at least in the past, you can tell me if I'm wrong here, that this is not a mandatory board meeting, it's an informational meeting.
Correct.
We post it because there's a chance we'll have more than 4 members there, but it's not one of those meetings that you have to, come back from vacation to attend. You can always ask questions as we're doing it today.
Thank you, and it's also part of our commitment to transparency so that the board agenda is available to the public a week in advance as well. Mrs. Sullivan?
The 1 week will work well for me. I would like to note that on March 26th, the regular board meeting, I will not be in attendance.
Thank
I'll
you.
be returning from a workforce development conference.
Okay, thank you.
I also won't be in attendance on March 26th.
You will also be gone on March 26th?
I'll be in New Zealand.
Okay. Make a note, Chancellor, that we don't do anything controversial on March 26th. Yeah, or do controversial.
Yeah, either way works.
Mr. Sarr?
March is the month that we approve tuition and fees for the coming year. So I hate to break your point, but that is kind of important.
Mm-hmm.
But it's possible that we can arrange, I know Mrs. Nguyen is going to be gone the whole month, but if we can accommodate those two in some way or another, it's worth certainly looking at.
You're going to call in from New Zealand?
Yeah. Is that important?
It's probably going to be 6 a.m. in the morning or whatever. Okay.
I'll be on a plane, so
Okay.
it's probably a little problematic.
All right. 10.2 is a further commitment to collaboration and transparency, and it's a proposal to return the former governing board policy 4.9, which establishes the committees of Policy Committee, Budget and Finance, and Charter Schools Committee. This is a first read. We'll be back for action in February. Any comments or questions? Mrs. Sullivan.
Yes, I'd like to look at attachment A, item 3 on the text for the Charter School Committee. It restates essentially the statement of the prior item number 2. I'd like to, for a point of clarification, to see if, in reading the sentence, the scope of this committee will be to review the charter school budget concepts and process as opposed to the MCCCD budget, understanding that the charter school budget is a subset to the MCCD budget.
Right. I think that's a good clarification, other than it should be charter schools.
Okay.
Dr. Thor, just for clarification, Mrs. Sullivan, the budget for the charter schools is totally separate from the MCCD budget, yes.
Okay,
So
thank you.
you are correct in your edits.
Without commenting on subset, got it. Thank you.
Okay. So, for the final read then, Chancellor, if we can make that correction or that revision. Human Resources, 11.1. Any comments or questions? Business Services, 12.1. Proposed tuition and fees for fiscal year 2019-20. Comments or questions?
Madam Chair.
Mr. Sarr.
This is a chance for everybody to look at, whether you're a student or faculty or a member of the community, to look at these. The Chancellor, to my knowledge, has not yet made a recommendation, or is this the recommendation you plan on making regarding tuition and fees? This is a recommendation. Okay. So, and just for the record, so that those that don't have anything in front of them, tuition will remain the same for next year? Is that what you're recommending? Okay. So I think this is obviously an important thing for us. And this is first read, first chance we get a chance to look at this, but it's possible that we'll make a vote on this at our next meeting or potentially at the latest in March. Our goal is to have these in place before we start early registration for the fall semester.
12.2, proposed fee changes for fiscal year 2019-20 budget. Comments or questions? Seeing none, we're moving on to the monitoring reports. The burn report, the budget analysis report, and the bond report. Any comments or questions? Okay. We are. Dr. Narini, do you have a governing board report?
Just that I want to thank Mr. Hibbs for taking the time to kind of walk me through some of the budget stuff earlier this week. And it's great to be back at school with the students and then being at the board at the same time, because it gives me a whole different perspective of working with our students as they transition from high school to the community college.
Thank you, Mrs. Sullivan.
A couple things. It's obvious that when you're sitting here as a new member, there's lots of learning left to do, not just on process, but I made no comment or questions on the items regarding budget, et cetera, frankly, because I need to really study this. And with that, I look forward to meeting with Mr. Hibbs and others to further understand this. I wanted to express my appreciation to everyone who's here, taking the time out of busy days, and also comment that it's been fun so far representing the district. I was able to attend the passing of the gavel to Supervisor Gates from Supervisor Chukri, and as a result of being able to attend the reception, there were so many people who were commented on our board and our role in the community. And it's obvious that the supervisors have a clearer understanding of our intentions and our mission and are very supportive. So that was exciting to participate. Also had an opportunity to meet with several state legislators. It just kind of happens. And also some national leaders. But probably the best time I've had in the last month has been to be introduced to so many individuals affiliated with the colleges and the staff that supports us, Donna. I particularly enjoyed my time at Phoenix College with Dr. Johnson. I've received a tour, and though I attended there at one point, boy, are there lots of changes that you've all approved. And it was really exciting to see the new science center and look at the new ways. I remember eating in the dungeon at Phoenix College, and now there's a bright, the den. Yeah. Yes, right, okay. Well, I called it the dungeon, but, so Dr. Johnson, thank you very much for taking the time to do that. And also, I was able to go to the Paradise Valley Community College faculty convocation. I heard a remarkably good presentation from a gentleman from Helios, and at some point, I think it could be good, perhaps at an extracurricular meeting, to have him repeat that presentation. It was very challenging from an education standpoint, but it was also very informative. So I appreciate, Dr. Dale, your invitation, and to the rest of you who have extended invitations, just want to say I'm getting there. So if I haven't met with you yet, it's not due to lack of interest. It's just due to a cluttered calendar. And I'll work with Donna and others to ensure that I have the opportunity to meet and work with all of you. So thank you for letting me take the time to say that. And I promise I won't say as much in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Nguyen.
I just want to say thank you. Much like Ms. Sullivan, I'm getting this with a fire hose, and I'm trying to run as fast as I know in high heels that I can do this. I really am honored and humbled to be here, and my commitment in running was that we would focus on student success. We have a huge opportunity in this community to really make a difference. And so far I've been able to meet with our Veteran Center. I was at the governor's inauguration, and many of the legislators are very interested in education. I think the governor has taken a stand to really focus on that this year, and I think we are poised to be the organization that can really be the bridge between K through 12, the community, and business. So I'm looking forward to developing our role in doing those things. Also, I'm trying to get to all the colleges as quickly as possible. We have incredible presidents who are committed, and I just really love the pride in the community when people are now coming up and telling me their Maricopa Community College success story. And there are many success stories, and I think it's our job to get out in the community and let people know just who we are, what we can do, and the difference we can make going forward. So thank you.
Mrs. McGrath.
I don't have a report about my personal activities, but I would like to commend staff for the wonderful job they did for moving the meeting from the district office building over to here. It was a tremendous amount of work at a very short notice, and I'm very impressed with our staff, as usual. And I'm very impressed with the work that Mr. Hibbs and Mr. Yukino are doing. They are working on the budget and doing wonderful things with it. I thank them very much for it.
Thank you. Mr. Saar.
In a couple weeks, several board members and the chancellor are traveling to D.C. again for the annual legislative summit for community college trustees from across the nation. Here in Arizona, there are 52 of us, and our organization is called the Arizona Association of Community College Trustees, or in educational vernacular, AACCT. And they'll have a meeting while we're there. So to the new board members who are going and others, information about that meeting will be provided to you. It's a breakfast meeting, so we look forward to seeing a number of the other trustees from Arizona in Washington, D.C., along with about 100,000 others of us. So it'll be a good time.
Thank you, Mr. Saar. I want to thank the planners of the January 7th faculty convocation that was held at Phoenix College. The convocation had a long tradition in Maricopa, but it has not been held for a number of years, and I think it's wonderful to see it back. It was very impressive. Some 600 faculty members attended, and their dedication to the guided pathways work is very, very encouraging. And I want to acknowledge the near countless hours that many, many faculty are devoting to these student success initiatives. So thank you all for that. I also want to announce some committee appointments. Mr. Saar will continue to represent us at the Arizona Association of Community College Trustees, formerly known as AADGB, now known as AACCT. Mrs. Sullivan will join Mrs. McGrath as members of the Audit and Finance Committee. Mrs. Nguyen will join Mrs. McGrath as ad hoc members of the Foundation Board. And then should the board choose at our February meeting to reinstate board committees, I will announce chairs for those committees at that time. At this time, I will entertain a motion and a second to adjourn.
So moved.
Second? Second?
We are adjourned.